for putting up the East African Court and East African Community and East African Federation is about we need to have an integrated market. And that was the first issue in having an East African Federation. It's because we need a wider market for the East African countries. But Kenya woke up one day and said, we're going to refuse products from these countries. Reason, products from these other countries are cheaper than products from Kenya. Now, here's the thing. Kenya woke up one day in around January 17th, 2020, and decided we're putting a ban on Ugandan milk that is coming to Kenya. Netugamba, it's okay, let's see what we'll do with Kenya's milk or Kenya's product in Uganda. But it didn't come to pass until February 12th, 2021, when Kenya was still continuing to block our milk, saying that we are exporting expired milk to Kenya. And the people that faced the wrath of Kenya is Lato milk. Kenya decided Lato milk cannot be imported into Kenya because it is expired. But when the milk came back to Uganda and we checked it, the UNBS checked the milk was okay. And that means Kenya only brought back Uganda's milk because ours was cheaper than theirs, and the people in Kenya decided to buy the milk in Kenya and not the milk in Uganda and not the one in Kenya. Now, yesterday as I was going through the tweets, before I go to school to sleep, usually I look through the tweets and see what is trending in the tweets. I see that one of our members of parliament, the Busia member of parliament, Godfrey Macho, called upon government to block all imports from Kenya. Now, this time, the problem is no longer our milk. Kenya has decided to also block Uganda's maize that goes to Kenya, or the ones that we export to Kenya. Now, how are we supposed to have the East African Federation when one country is making it difficult for other countries? Now, Kenya is not only blocking Uganda's milk and Uganda's maize. Kenya has also decided to ban exportation of Kenyan maize, of Tanzanian maize, I beg your pardon. So they said even Tanzania cannot bring maize. Magufuli Nganda, you guys are playing with me. Because if you think that our maize cannot go there, but you'll keep bringing in your products, you are wrong. Magufuli blocked Kenya's imports into Tanzania, and then Kenya decided, oh, why we are fighting the wrong battle. So the Busia Municipality Member of Parliament, Geoffrey Macho, says enough is enough. Kenya has played enough with us. We decided on February 12, 2021, we're taking them to the East African Court, but we're not seeing any action. We're not seeing any change. Let us ban Kenyan products. That, look, this is the thing. If you're going to ban our products, we're going to do the same to your products in Uganda. Unless you allow Uganda's products to go into Kenya, we're not going to allow Kenyan products to come into Uganda. Do you think that is the best solution in dealing with Kenyan produce, or Kenya's refusal to have Uganda's goods imported into their country? I mean, every time they come up with a product, so they're going to decide, since we have maize flour, we're going to stop Ugandans from being theirs because theirs is cheap. Since we have enough milk, we're going to stop Uganda. I mean, how long are we going to do that? That means the East African Federation is useless. And last time, when President Museveni sat with the 5 presidents of the different nations, why is it that these issues were not discussed? Uhuru Kenyatta was present in that meeting, and he was even handed over the East African chairmanship from the Rwandan president, and it was given to Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, Uhuru Kenyatta, who is now the chairperson, is not helping with the situation, and I'm sure he's in the know-how. So we'll wait and see how this one plays out, because just like Geoffrey Macho says, it seems like I'm in support. How can you block Uganda's product and you expect us to keep consuming your product? If we are one East African Federation, that's how we ought to continue with it. Now, we're talking about tweets. The other tweet that got my attention, of course, is Rebecca Kadagga, our speaker in Parliament. Yesterday, Hon Ssemujju gave us the history of the different speakers we have had since the first parliament to when Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took over the power, and then later on to when Rebecca Kadagga sat, and she has sat through 2 parliaments, going to 3 if she goes through this particular one, the 11th parliament. Ssemujju Nganda said, oh, why? Enough is enough. I am here and I'm going to stand, and I want to stand in this competition between Rebecca Kadagga and the Deputy Jacob Oulanyah, and I'm going to be the third one. And I'm sure I will win because I've written to all the opposition members of parliament telling them, you know what? If you want someone on your side to sit in that position, then here I am. He, however, also said that even when I sit here as an opposition member of parliament, I'm also sure to be non-partisan. He says he has been there for 3 consecutive terms, and now he knows what to do as the Speaker of Parliament come the 11th August House. Let's look at that story, and then we'll come back to discussing Rebecca Kadagga calling upon government to release the nightly curfew because she does not see the importance of the nightly curfew.
For the office of the Speaker of Parliament, which includes incumbent Rebecca Kadagga and Deputy Jacob Oulanyah. Although both have not yet formally declared interest in the seat, their campaign teams are reportedly canvassing support for them among legislators.
So therefore, I don't want to declare myself an opposition candidate. I have called you here to declare myself a candidate for the Speaker. As I said in my statement, I have fairly enough knowledge about Parliament. The Honorable Ben Watcher nearly here became a speaker. He was opposition. When you're a good person, you are good. You're not only good for your party. Even when I was elected in the constituency in Chira, I was not elected only by the FDC, only by NUP, only by NRM. I was elected by majority of the population there.
Asked where he gets the confidence to take on incumbent Kadagga, Ssemujju told the press that he has sent a letter to all presidents of opposition parties that have their members in parliament, reminding them of their duty as opposition. Ssemujju said that his fairly good knowledge of the parliament has also earned him trust among NRM legislators. This letter, and I am not going to give you a copy because the information contained in this letter is it's information that is privileged. I have already written to the presidents of all the opposition parties. I am going to write a letter to each and every MP, which will be delivered by close of day today, to explain why they should support my candidature, and to explain, especially to the new ones, about my competence. And then certainly we've started contacting MPs. The colleagues you see here are also contacting MPs and several others. So we are contacting. According to the Kira municipality legislator, having joined parliament first as a journalist and now later in 2011 became an MP, he is now going to serve his 3rd term, which gives him vast knowledge to run the affairs of the August House as Speaker. I have outlined areas of my competence. I have presided over meetings in Parliament. By the way, don't be mistaken, I have chaired a committee for 2.5 years, and my performance is there for everybody to see. So I am seeking to do something I have done before, chairing meetings of Parliament. I don't see how the internal workings of my party or the internal working, because you see, the moment you are a speaker, you're supposed to be impartial. You're a speaker for everybody. The moment you come here to become a speaker for your party, you will be failing on day one, because in this parliament, a multi-party parliament, you have multiplicity of platforms that sponsored, including those who came as independent. So therefore, I am going to be a speaker for Parliament and a speaker for Uganda. Uganda has so far seen 9 speakers chair the August House from the colonial time to date. Tagged first Parliament to the 9th Parliament that has been led by Rebecca Kadagga and deputized by Jacob Oulanyah. The first Parliament during the colonial times between 1962 to 1966 saw John Bowes Griffin and Narendra M. Patel from 1962 to 1971. He also chaired the second Parliament before Edward Rugumayo took over the 3rd Parliament from 1979 to 1980. The 4th Parliament was chaired by Francis K. Butajura from 1980 to 1985. 5th Parliament when the National Resistance Council took over power in 1986 to 1996, chaired by the Vice Chairperson of the party, Alhaj Moses Chigongo. The 6th Parliament from 1996 to 2001 was chaired by James Wakapablo, followed by Francis
Francis Ayume from 1998 to 2001, the 7th and 8th Parliament from 2001 to 2006, and 2006 to 2011 was chaired by Edward II, who handed over to the first female Speaker of the 9th and 10th parliamentarians as seated in the House until May, where the recently elected 11th parliamentaries will occupy the House if he goes through. Ssemujju Nganda will be the 10th Speaker to grace the August House. Husna Affet for Select News.
From Husna Affet about the number of speakers who have graced the House from the first Parliament to now the 11th Parliament. And for those who did not listen clearly, of course, I'll be going through the list a little bit later. But now let's concentrate on who Ssemujju Ibrahim Nganda is. Now, Ssemujju, 1, was a journalist. 2, Ssemujju Nganda was a lecturer. And now Ssemujju Nganda is the Member of Parliament in Chira Municipality. Now, for you who don't know Ibrahim Ssemujju Nganda, he's a 47-year-old Uganda who is married to Farida Ssemujju, and he was a journalist in Daily Monitor, and he was leading the English desk in Daily Monitor, and he served the role until 2004. He studied in Makerere University, and his secondary was done in Masaka. Now, Ssemujju Nganda was also in 2000 and 2001 teaching journalism at Islamic University in Uganda, and in 2004, that is when he was still a teacher in Islamic University in Uganda, he left, that is the Daily Monitor, and joined the Observer, where he was both a reporter and a shareholder. And he was assigned as a political editor at the Weekly Observer, where he went to Parliament to capture the stories in Parliament and bring them to the newspapers. Now, in 2011, he decided to contest for a parliamentary seat at Kyadondo County East, which he went through, and he ran on the Forum for Democratic ticket. And then later on, in 2016, when Chira Municipality was given a seat different from Kyadondo, he then later sat as the Member of Parliament for Chira Municipality, and he went through, and he has been there from then to now, and seems like his people have trusted him with giving in his best when he sits in Parliament. You know, they cannot vote for you if you're not giving in your best. So it seems like Ssemujju Nganda is doing his part and playing his role as a Member of Parliament for Chira Municipality, and they're actually appreciating the work that he is doing. Now, away from Ssemujju Nganda, let's come back to the speakership competition that is happening between Rebecca Kadagga and Jacob Oulanyah. We know that they have not officially come up to say we are standing for the speakership position one more time, but we know that their supporters or their agents are moving around and telling people, support Rebecca, support Jacob, and the competition is a silent one, but it is a continuous one. We know that Rebecca Kadagga and Jacob Oulanyah have not had the best relationship. Rebecca Kadagga says Jacob travels a lot, and he travels without communication, leaving Rebecca Kadagga alone in dealing with issues of the Parliament. And that's why she says she will never let Jacob Oulanyah chair the Parliament. Now, recently, when Jacob Oulanyah had the chance to chair the Parliament, he said he wouldn't, because Rebecca Kadagga had gone to bury her niece that had died during that week. And Jacob Oulanyah said it would be disrespectful to have a sitting Parliament when Rebecca Kadagga, their speaker, is in burial. So they must stay and mourn her as a group and have solidarity. And that is what happened. So that parliamentary sitting did not happen, and Jacob Oulanyah did not chair it. He, however, said, how dare Ugandans go on their social medias and say that, what will Jacob Oulanyah say when he sits there? Because he has never sat there. So what will he say? He says he has been there before, he knows what to do, and he was chosen, or he was picked as the Deputy Speaker because he has experience in being the Speaker of Parliament, and that is what is happening between the speakership competition. So you never know. In the 11th Parliament, Ssemujju Nganda will be heading the team. But do you think that he'll be doing a good job? Is the question I should be asking. Now, all those questions I'm asking, all you need to do is leave your comments on our social media platforms. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp, and we will be able to read them out loud on the show. Now, Rebecca Kadagga also asked or questioned the relevance of the curfew at this moment. And in quotes, she says there is no need to confine people anymore. This is violation of people's rights while on Parliament in Tuesday. This is exactly what she said. Do you agree with her? Do you think this is a violation of human rights now because we are seeing that, hey, the vaccine is here? They promised that the vaccine will be here on 5th March, and the vaccine is here. And today being the 10th of March 2021, health workers will be the first ones to get this COVID-19 vaccine. And they will be an amount of 150 health workers who will start from the 11th of this month to the 15th of this month, and they will be receiving the vaccine. We're expecting 18 million doses of the vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, and we've so far received 864,000 vaccines, and we are expecting more. Now, after we received the 864,000 vaccines, we received more 100,000 vaccines that came all the way from India, and we know that doctors will be among the first people to be vaccinated. There was a funny quote on social media where someone was saying, why are we having our doctors vaccinated as the first group? It is very dangerous, because what if the AstraZeneca does not work? That means we're losing health workers. Why don't we start with politicians? Because politicians, even if we lose them, we wouldn't mind a lot. Now, that is not my quote. That is a quote that was running on social media, and people were making fun about politicians receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine. The good news, however, is that journalists will be able to receive that vaccine as well, but not now, because the first group of people to receive will be the UPDF, the teachers, and then the health workers. And then journalists who are the essential workers will be receiving the vaccine a bit later. Fly Emirates brought the vaccine to us in this country, to Jidina, thanks God, and we're waiting for more vaccines so that every Ugandan from 16 years and above will be receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, there's a session that Ministry of Health has called for, and it says that a lot of people are running around myths on the COVID-19 vaccine, and there's a research with the Ministry of Health, the government, and Makerere University, and they will be sitting down to ensure that the COVID-19 vaccine myths are dealt with, and Ugandans trust the process and accept to receive that vaccine, because according to them, it is very, very, very important. The numbers of COVID-19 that we have in the country is at 4,000, the deaths are 300, and the recoveries surpass that. So thanks God, we're still okay, and we're fighting against COVID-19. But like always, when we come on the show, we tell you, make sure that your masks are there, make sure that you're sanitizing, make sure that you're keeping at a 2-meter distance between people. Schools opened, candidates were doing the exams, but they were sitting at a 2-meter distance because of the SOPs and guidelines given by the Ministry of Health. Now, moving forward with the conversation